Right, let's call this meeting to order. This is the regular school board meeting, April 8th, board meeting number 796. And first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand and remove your hats. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda as published.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. And our first order of business tonight is the Clark-Fort Junior Senior High School presentation with Gemma. Thought you were faking us out there.
Oh, no.
Chomping at the bit.
Yep, chomping at the bit. You guys, this is going to be a little bit of a unique student presentation tonight because we're talking about our new online school. We just started this year. And so I want to tell everybody, thank you very much for allowing us to come and share a little bit about it. Board, thank you. I've been up here for a little while, so I appreciate the opportunity. I would like to bring up some people who one person I work with, Miss Amanda Heilman. And Crystal, come on up. She is our stand-in student for tonight. And this is one of our parents in the program. If you could, go ahead and advance it, please. So what is this online school thing? Doing some research around the state of Idaho, I think the earliest school started in Oneida School District. It was about 9 years ago, and they grew huge. But there are little pockets of these schools opening up all over Idaho, and a lot of the result is we've seen changes in like state laws with giving families choice on where they want to go to school. We went through this thing called COVID, and when we came out of that, education has kind of changed. Families' expectations, parents, students, lives have changed a little bit. We see people working remotely all over the world right now, and some of these families end up taking their kids with them. And so this has been kind of I'm a student in this also. We have been kind of building this program from scratch, reaching out to schools all over the place, and we're trying to make something happen in our community that will hopefully someday be the model that other communities can follow, other school districts, because we've gone through some growing pains, but I'll tell you, this has been an outstanding opportunity for many of our families. The traditional brick and mortar school, I think, is changing as the world is changing. And so I'm going to turn over the next thing over to Amanda Heilman.
All right, so we started out the school year with about 5 kids in our program. Right now, we currently have 41 total, so it's grown quite a bit. We don't have dates where they can enter. It's kind of an all-year rolling thing. Enrollment includes currently 7th through 12th grade. And then each student is enrolled in 4 courses at a time. They get to kind of pick how they do those courses. We have kids that are logging in and they do English on Monday, math on Tuesday, science on Wednesday. We have other kids that like to they continue to log in and just do their English till that class is done. Then they move on to math, science. So they get to kind of pick how they want to do that. What we're looking for is progress monitoring. Are they logging in? How often are they logging in? And then completion of work. So we can see all of that on the admin side. Tells us all their times, dates, all of that kind of stuff. And then we're in consistent communication with parents and students. I personally met with every single student and parent that is in our online program, just to sit down and get to know them for a minute, what their needs are, kind of why they're joining the online program. Every student in our program is there for a different reason. There is no 2 of them that are the same. So that's a little bit about the program. With having 41 kids in the program, Justin Allen is our newest Clark-Fort employee. He is doing some of that stuff with checking in with parents and looking to see when they're logging in and how long they've been there. He is very, very new. He's been there about
A week?
a week. Yeah. So he's getting in the swing of things. We're doing some training. So hopefully we are prepared and ready to go next year and can grow the program. This is one of our 10th graders, Buddy Adams. From the pictures, you can see he is currently in Hawaii. He is finishing up his final class for graduation. He will graduate as a sophomore this year. He has already taken his entrance exams for NIC in both English and math and been accepted. He's going to go into the welding program. And he did a video for you guys.
Hi, my name is Buddy Adams. I'm 16 and I was attending Clark Fork High School looking for a way to fast track my way to graduation. And the Clark Fork High School online program was a great option for me because I've been able to be in Hawaii for the past month and do concrete and fish for the past month, and it's been great.
What a horrible classroom.
Buddy is one of our students that is extremely smart, fast track kid, but didn't want to go the dual credit route. 4-year college isn't really his thing. He wanted to go to a trade school. If he was not in this program, we may have lost him before graduation. He doesn't understand the importance of, or he doesn't have the want to continue
In
to
his
go to
words,
school.
I'm wasting my time here.
Yeah.
And so this is a way that we were able to actually accommodate him and set him up for success.
And like I said, he's already passed his NIC entrance exam, so he will be ready to go and we'll walk with our seniors this year. All right, the next one, slide. This is Crystal, and she is a parent. Well, she had 2 kiddos in our online program, so I will let her.
So they got my girls to not be a bulldog and be a wampus cat. That would be cool, I guess. And so originally we went and met with Amanda because my 15-year-old at the time, she's 16 now, was pregnant, and she was pregnant with twins. So she thought that the online school that was offered at SHS was not good for her because she didn't want to go to class. It was a little humiliating and maybe just, I actually don't really know her train of thought, and I'm like dying up here talking. But so this is my senior here, and she came to that meeting signing Jaya up and was like, this sounds fantastic. And she signed up too. So she was able to work ahead, and I think she's a lot like Buddy, where she felt like she was wasting her time sitting in the classroom because she'd finish her work in the first 5 minutes and like be waiting for the other yahoos to finish. Just kidding. The other children, beautiful children who maybe weren't paying attention or were more like me. You know, she felt like she was wasting her time too. So she was able to finish all her classes, I think around December, and be ready to graduate. And so it's just been really good. Jenica actually, so she's sick today, so I'm going to read what she wrote. So my name is Jenica, and I joined the Clark Fork program my senior year. I chose this program because it was the only one available for me that allowed me to fully work at my own pace. My experience with this program has been amazing. Every course taught me valuable information in an effective, long-lasting way. This program allowed me to graduate almost a full semester early so I can focus on working and spend more time with my family. I now plan to continue working and saving up money so I can take online college classes to be certified in marketing and business. And so when she signed up for that reason to be with family, it was to help Jaya with the twins. Well, Jaya lost a twin, but then also she went into preterm labor 29 weeks early and had the baby at 30 weeks. So she's still in Spokane at the NICU right now. And Jenica being home and being available to our family has been so valuable to our family. I know, because without Jenica being home, I wouldn't be able to be there to support Jaya and her. Now she actually got married. My 16-year-old is married, and her husband, as they're journeying the NICU, which has a lot of ups and downs. I don't know if any of you guys have had anyone in the NICU. So it's enabled us to rally as a family, and it's just been a really wonderful option because the other options that were offered to my daughter didn't allow them to work ahead, and Jaya was able to work ahead, you know, and then when her water broke and center ruptured and everything, she got life flighted to Spokane on February 1st. She hasn't been able to log in, but the fantastic communication of this team has made it easy in the fact that when the baby's out of the NICU, she'll be able to pick back up and finish at her pace and finish her sophomore year.
So Jaya will also be on,
Yeah.
she will be on grade level track going into next year. That is our plan right now. So she will continue to work.
Hello, my name is Jaya Rosemont, and I joined the Clark Book online program starting at grade 10. I chose the Clark Book online program because I can go at my own pace, and if I'm stressed out about one particular subject, I can just move on to another one. I also chose it because I found out I was pregnant with my daughter unexpectedly, and so it was just way better for me to be going online and going at my own pace. Since the online program has been really good because it's helped with my time management skills, and I can be really flexible with whatever I need. Before my daughter was born prematurely, I was able to work ahead so that now that we're in the NICU and staying at the Ronald McDonald House, I don't have to stress as much about catching up on work because I have already worked ahead on my work. Through grade 10 of the schooling program, I'll probably continue with Clark Book for my junior year and then reevaluate my options for my senior year.
All right, so as you can see, like all of our kids, different reasons they're going in. Some of these kids are college bound, some of them are workforce, but every one of them has a unique story, and they've been successful. So that has been amazing to watch.
And so do you guys have any questions for us?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic program. I think if we're keeping kids in school and on track, and if the alternative is that we lose them and they fall out of the system and don't finish, or the alternative is they go someplace else, this is a great way to keep our kids moving forward, headed towards graduation. So I'm just jealous that I don't get to go fishing anymore.
I know.
I'm gonna call my boss.
Right.
It's an awesome program.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, thank you. Yeah, we're
Thank
hoping to
you.
grow it. So, yeah, it's a great opportunity for a lot of families.
So I do have a question.
Yes.
If somebody would like to participate, how do they do that?
Give us a call.
Call?
Yep.
So most of it has just been a phone call, and then I set up a meeting, have them actually come out to Clark Book so they can see our building, meet all of us. We talk about expectations of the program, so that's the logging in and communication and kind of what the structure of the program looks like. And then if they're interested, we sign them up.
Yep, it's really important that they come and actually meet us because then they know who we are, what we're going to expect out of you as a student and as a family. Because it'd be real easy to fall through the cracks, and we're dealing with all different levels of kids, and so it is great that they come and talk to us. Yes, sir.
So just a question, so can they be dual enrolled? Can they like take a welding class at Sandpoint and then go out and do that at Clark Book?
Yeah.
So they can get the best of both worlds, like this student wants to be a welder. I mean, there's options there, so you don't have to
Yes.
fit into the, okay, that's awesome.
He's too busy enjoying Hawaii though.
Yeah, he's gonna be a pro fisherman.
Yeah.
Athletics, same thing. If they live in Sandpoint, they participate with Sandpoint schools. If they live out in our attendance zone, they participate with us.
Good option.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you.
All right, next up, we have a financial update with CFO Brian Wallace. Come on down.
Chair Williams, members of the board, Dr. Meyer. This report for this month is going to be a little bit longer because we're starting to get into budget season, have some legislative information. So, we'll go to the next slide real quick. So first, we'll go over sort of what happened with the legislature. They are, effectively done with the finance parts of legislation. They've wrapped up pretty much and may come back if there's any vetoes. But a couple things that we talked about earlier. One, there's two proposals for a weighted student funding formula. It would have changed a little bit of the way we're funded. Both did not pass, so we're pretty much going to be funded like we were this year as far as attendance and funding units, and the formula that's been around since the mid-90s. Part of what would have happened if they changed the formulas those line items, safe and drug-free schools, these different other little pots of categorical funding would have gone away, but they're back. So it's sort of status quo is what the legislature did. We did get an increase in discretionary funding, and they split discretionary funding between what they call discretionary, and then you have to spend it on medical benefits. And so there's two pots, sort of formulas. The general discretionaries, there was a no increase, which is the first time probably since 10 years that hasn't happened. I mean, I did see during the Great Recession there's actually reductions in that dollar amount, but since things have been better recently, so that this is a pretty thin year as far as that type of funding. Medical increase is an 8.7% increase overall with the way that funding works. We're going to anticipate that on another slide, that probably won't cover what our costs would be. It's a chunk of change. The other part where we saw some increases on salary-based apportionment, where we do get the most of our dollars. They did a 5% increase to the career ladder steps. It's the certified funding formula. It's not what we pay, it's just the funding formula. And they did keep what they call the $6,359 certified staff allowance as a bump that did a couple years ago. That was not put permanently into law, but it was funded this year. Classified base was increased 5%, so for every FTE we're funded for classified, that's the base. They also increased, also for administrators on the funding formula again. The administrative base is $46,668. You take that base and multiply it by a scale of how experienced the administrator is. It's a formula. And so roughly we'll get about $86,000 per administrator, which is a little less than what, quite a bit less on some than what we're funded, but that's the formula. But when I didn't put any hard numbers on those, we should within about 2 weeks get the budget templates where really I can get the firm numbers. I sort of have an idea, but it's better not to just put it out there, a guess out there. Go to the next. So that's the revenue side. Facilities funding, some of the new things the legislature did last year. The Fund 435, which we have that fund, which you'll see when we do our budget hearing, which was really created by House Bill 292 last year. This year they had House Bill 481, which added additional dollars to that. How much that is, that's a dollar amount go to that fund depending on sales tax and all. I'm really not sure, but we should get additional dollars in that fund for that Fund 435. The Fund 436, they have another $86 million going to that. That's the big bond sale where we're putting those proceeds to Sandpoint Middle School. This really was because of the sale of the bonds. They did better than they thought, so the legislature didn't really appropriate more money, but because they did such a good job on it, there's more available. They will give that out on ADA, but that's the law. So, for the project, we should get hopefully $86 million. We're about 1.2% of $86 million is about $950,000. So we'll have to see. That'll be distributed, next year, and of course that'll just give us a little more capacity for doing some of the work we're doing at Sandpoint Middle. So our timeline, for the budget, and we shared this before, is right here, and we're looking at the revenue projections. I should have that finished by mid-month once we get the information from the state. Our levy is flat, so we know that. The federal funding, now that's going to be, right now,
Who knows?
we don't know. So what I'm going by is status quo. We haven't heard that they're getting cut, so we'll just go with, like, for our Title I funding and our federal special education funding, just go with the amounts that we sort of had this year. And often we don't hear those amounts till May anyway. It may be longer this year, but that's what we'll go with, and we'll just adjust accordingly. Sort of we do at the same time this year, we start looking at our estimated expenditures. The big one will be salaries and benefits. And where we land, of course, negotiations will drive that, which we're meeting later this month. And then, so we'll have more information in May and some more details to give you information and have any questions in it, then the formal budget hearing will be our June meeting. So when you look at whatever the goals for this year, honestly, I put a couple asterisks. You know, a lot of times school districts, especially if you don't have a lot of new money, you just sort of try to keep going on the path you're going for this year. This is really a maintain year, I think. We're not going to get a lot of new revenues from the state. We're not having increased levies, so it's really, if we can just maintain what we're doing, take some of those medical increases and the extra dollars that we got from the state for salaries, the intent is to go to staff, so make sure we pass those through. That's where we're at. The facility money will be going to the projects that we're already doing. But you know, the budget is going to reflect our strategic plan. We're going to keep addressing our facility needs. The CTEC project is going now. And of course, the planning design and some of those costs will hit next year for the Sandpoint Middle School project. But you know, that's be full steam ahead as far as working with the architects and the engineers and looking at those projects that can break ground that next summer. So, you know, again, quality staff is one of our main goals. We look at see what we can do with the dollars we did receive for compensation and benefits and continue our professional development. And then the student connection, you know, we plan to still have our Chromebook replacement cycle. Whatever the curricular needs, we've been saving. If we do have a curricular adoption, we'll be able to accommodate that and continue to support extracurricular. So I'm, projecting flat enrollment. You'll see right around 3,800 kids, which is where we've been sort of all year. 190 funded units. I think we earned 191 this year, so a little bit down, but last year I budgeted 188, so it's really pretty flat as far as the funding units. All our departments and program budget requests, that's been submitted. We've met with those departments. We asked them to, because we've sort of figured we're not going to get a lot of new money, so we said please submit a flat budget, which they did. So that spending, we're going to sort of hold the line. Health insurance renewal, I talked to our benefits provider. They're anticipating, he said, high single digits. We'll know later this month, but I'm guessing it's going to be 9.5%. We'll have the rates in a couple of weeks. Those costs will probably be a little higher than the new dollars you get from the state.
Right. The state cooked in 8.5%.
8.7% per the funding formula. It's roughly going to be $300,000 to $350,000 till I get the formula. If we had like a 9% raise, that's probably over $400,000, so it won't cover it all. It covers a chunk of it, but not 100%. Again, the federal grant estimates, we don't even ATA when we'll get those allocations, but we'll just sort of adjust and go. I mean, that's one good thing that we're with a good financial condition of the district is that, we are able to make adjustments if needed and absorb some bad news and then be more planful moving forward, which is a good place to be. Of course, interest-based bargaining has not started. Our first meeting is scheduled April 17th. And so, this next steps we're going to do. Just a reminder, the Legislative Roadshow is May 2nd. It's down in Worley this year at the casino, so you can go golf and gamble after you hear what the state has to say. They're splitting out the budget session. They're not going to have quite as much of the session and go over more of the policy parts of the legislators. So that's going to be actually April 15th. I just got the email today that that's when that's scheduled. So I'll get more. I should get those forms on April 15th. And once we get negotiations, I can finalize salary benefit estimates. Again, May board meeting, we'll present a draft of the budget, and hopefully we'll be done with negotiations. That's something that, that's, I guess we don't know for sure it'll be at the May board meeting, but that's the goal in the budget hearing. So here I'm going to just quickly show you the status report actually for February, and then March is behind it. I just put the highlight in green to let you know in February, since I wasn't here for the last month's meeting, we did get sort of a big state payment. We get a payment in February that's reflected, and so you can see that on the state side, we're about 90% of funding of receiving the state dollars. So most of our dollars on the revenue side to come in, our second half of our levy will come in June, but otherwise it's, we sort of, the nice part of the Idaho funding is we do get our money up front. This month, you can see revenues not very much, a little bit of levy dollars, local dollars came in. And again, on our spending on that monthly activity, we're consistently right around $4 million a month, with $3.5 million of it going to salaries and benefits. The nice thing I like to see at the very bottom, the previous year's comparison, like if you look at our expenditures compared to budget, this year, last year, and the prior year, it's all about the same, which is good. School districts, we don't like surprises or sort of patterns. If suddenly one year we were way up or down from how we compared to other years, you go, wow, what's going on? That we're sort of tracking well, that's good. So you can see on the spending just as there that definitely our green is going up on salaries and benefits, and we're over halfway in the year now. As far as the spending, and then some of the other areas, they're higher to near budget just because we're getting to the end of spending our goods and services for the year. The revenues, you'll see a big jump on the state. We've received almost all of it. We'll get some categorical funding, some other things, and the other second half of our supplemental levy. Finally, on enrollment, saw 3,795 the previous month, 3,803, so down 8 kids, but still compared to last year, we're still up 30. We've held the enrollment, honestly pretty good, better than many of our peers. And I think the last thing, I think that might be it.
Yeah.
So if there's any questions about the budget, it's but definitely for revenues, it's not the best news. The previous years, the legislature's done more for K-12, but it didn't happen this year.
Okay. Ryan, do you guys have any questions? No? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan. Next up, we have the superintendent report with Dr. Becky Hart.
Okay. Thank you. So the first thing is to go through last month the patron comments. There was 3 main topics that were discussed last month at the board meeting, so I'll cover these in order of succession. So the first one is there was a mom and some others regarding a gift bag incident. So I did meet with the mom and the other mothers and did a little bit of investigated the context of the situation and what precipitated it, really the incident. In follow-up, it was a great conversation. I met with the administration as well. And in follow-up, I just wanted to document and let the board know that it was a documented incident. I know there was one public comment that was concerned that was not documented anywhere. Just anything that's documented in our student files is confidential, and only counselors and admin can access that. So that is, we did follow through, that part was. And then areas for us to improve as a district, and we're always looking on ways we can improve. I know we're not perfect. We know that we can always make improvements. So these situations give us an ability to hear different perspectives and decide how to do it better the next time. We definitely feel like a wraparound mediation with all students involved, and whether parents are there or not, but having all of the people involved in the situation come back together, whether it's with counselors or administration or coach, but having people all in the same room to have discussion as a group is really a wraparound mediation would have been helpful here. And then really what I always talk about, and it's up on the wall there, is seeking the MRI, which is a most respectful interpretation. So I find that if people run to the LRI, the least respectful interpretation, they're not really giving the benefit of the doubt until you find out the facts. So I always ask us, parents I meet with, staff, my own family, like really practicing the MRI so that people can say, okay, let's pretend that they have the best intentions, because people often do, from their perspective with the information they have, are making the best intention. So let's just assume that until we meet with people and find out the facts. So I think something else that we can do as a staff better is really remembering to give the MRI, and again, talking with parents and students and all of the group, giving each other MRI till we find out really what's happened. So I think that maybe would help, also knowing that each student's perspective was different. So getting everybody again back in the room where everybody's discussing is just a helpful step, I think, because of some instances like precipitating extenuating circumstances where we weren't able to do, but in the future I think that would be helpful. The second one was the PASS system, and there were several concerns from parents about the PASS system. So I did some follow-up with this. The board had asked, all 5 board members had asked that we do allow, one of the parents has said it'd be great if parents knew about the opt-out option. So I did inform the board, and they did put that out to all Sandpoint High School parents to be able to have an opt-out, so we followed through with that. And then just really looking at, there were several parents that really wanted the system, and then some that didn't, that you heard about. So just kudos to Sandpoint High School. They really were letting parents individually decide what's best for their individual students. So if parents are able to opt out and have the agenda book and the PASS system that way, versus the PASS system that's in place, we're really letting parents decide what's best for their kids. That way we could just accommodate all parent requests at this point. Somebody asked about other schools that it's at. So of course Clark Fork High School, junior, senior high school in our district. And then you can see there's several other middle schools and high schools that it is used up in our state in North Idaho right now. In follow-up, also a parent asked about if a teacher, I don't know if you remember, there was one parent that was concerned about using other students and signing out as another student. So you can, and they said it would be great if they could do an ID and use a student ID number. So you're able to do that in the classroom. If you have a Chromebook for the classroom, it's an extra one and it's up by the teacher's desk. So they have offered that. If teachers would like to, they can offer that option. And areas for us to improve, definitely having parent and staff and student input ahead of time, and having a work session and input ability for everyone to give input before we have initiatives and programs that roll out. It's not always possible, but there's definitely ways we can see that we could gather input perspectives before we have a big rollout for initiatives are implemented. So my recommendation, I know this is on the agenda for the board, my recommendation is we've already put forth the money. It's into, really flowing right now, and it's working. They're seeing pros and cons. There's been some positive feedback. Of course, some still concerned, but my recommendation to the board would be that we let it continue for the rest of this semester. We have 1 quarter left. And then at the end of the year, we gather that stakeholder input again. The administration gathers that and then can give that information back to the board on where people are feeling at the end of the year that's at. And the third one that was brought up was the Chromebook concerns, and that there was pornography accessible. So I did talk to Matt Brass, the tech director, and then several classroom teachers to see how this is working in the classrooms. And there's 3 oversights we have at the district. There is the district filter and the oversight that we have at the district level. And you can see that it scans and flags every single day. The main point, and I put a quotation up there, the reality is that we just can't assume that the filter blocks every single negative thing coming in, because people are out there writing. I know people have got phishing, and you've got things in your email or scams, and so it's hard to keep up with that. But what the filter does is it's daily, every day going and red flagging and finding concerns that they have, and then it's following through and checking that. And so they have to fill what they call fill the holes. So this filter is trying to stay ahead of it. And once in a while something does get through. He specifically didn't have anything in pornography, but that's why we pay for the filter system to be there. You also have parental oversight, so we've paid for this called LineWise. And I put the link in there in case parents want to do it. After school hours, parents can take over and monitor up to 2 devices per kid, so they can monitor their phone or they can monitor their Chromebook. And parents can be part of the solution to help monitoring that. And then in the classroom, they have ClassWise. which means, and you've probably seen teachers, they can see all the student Chromebooks at once. They can overview what everybody's doing. So if they're up at their desk and they've had people working individually, they can also look through that and see what students are on the Chromebook. So those 3 layers set us up for as much success, again, in trying to stay up in front of it with new things coming out. There was also concern about decreased reading level. I definitely want to say that's not accurate. I'm going to show you some year-to-year comparisons. So one thing is this district iStation, remember, is the IRI, Idaho Reading Indicator, K through 3rd grade, and it's the reading that we assess with our students. You can see last year, this is us here. It says, if you can't see it, says state average, district average, state average, district average. But you can see that we are 69% were proficient reading at grade level, I guess I should say, and above. Last year, this year we have 73%. Same time, same test, 73% and above. And the red, which is the students that are below grade level for reading, is 10%. Last year was 13%. So there's an improvement there in the K3. Then 4th, 5th, and 6th, you can see fall to winter this year. We've gone down. So it's gone from students that are having reading issues and they're not what we would call independently reading with adequate accuracy. The definition's up there on the right. It has gone down. So intervening and working with the students has gone down at 4th, 5th, and 6th. And also you can see at secondary level. So you might ask, well, why do we have all these students that need intervention? We were not identifying it before. This is new. When the dyslexia legislation came out and our district started, every student graduates a reader, we have now identified every student that we are looking at. Every student in our district actually reads out loud to an adult, and there is reading individually with every single district student, every single one. I don't know of another district in our state that has actually wrapped around students and is identifying readers, identifying students who need help with reading and intervening. So this is a brand new thing that's been out the last couple of years that our district is doing. So we are identifying more students that are having trouble with reading and bringing them up to a level so that every student graduates a reader. And we did have, remember, Lisa McElroy, the literacy lead, come and present to the school board. So you're familiar with what those interventions are. So that might be why people say, like, well, why do we have these students reading? Well, it's not because of the Chromebooks. It's because we are identifying based on that legislation and us really as a district saying, we are not going to let any student fall through the cracks. We really are going to work with every student to identify and help them be a reader when they graduate. Reminding you, our strategic plan, and you can see the center of everything we do is the students, just what I was just talking about. I want to say there was a great connection with the student and the community and the parents when we had student-led conferences. My favorite day of the entire year, on Thursday night, I went to Sandpoint Middle School and connected with a lot of the families there. It was so successful, and I did tell you the attendance, it was really high, having an after school and a nighttime thing for parents. So we are going to talk, some of the elementary schools are going to look at that for next year on a Thursday night, Friday morning, and we're going to let them decide individually by school what is best for their community, and then they're going to send that out. So just giving you a heads up that will happen next year. Just another reminder that we are full force ahead, and we are going to have the JROTC program. It will be the second one in the state. We have Bora High School down south and Sandpoint High School. The instructor, Kyle Olmstead, was hired. He's over on the left, and of course you know Principal Crossingham. And then Alex Gray is the CTE director, and he is writing an application right now so that JROTC can count for CTE credit, and it could be a approved CTE program. So it's super exciting for us for next year. Another great news as of today, like I did this slide like 5 minutes before you guys got here. We found out this week that CCLC, so much thank you to Andrew Murray, is our director of elementary, and Lorraine, who runs CCLC director. They spent hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. No, that's not an exaggeration. It's a very, very laborious grant application process. And so that it's a 5-year deal, and it's very difficult to get, very rigorous and competitive. So we were actually really shocked, pleasantly shocked, but very much excited that we just got renewed. It's a really big deal that we got renewed again for 5 years at Southside Elementary for that. So that is education, engagement, childcare, but it really works on after school skills and stuff too. So another thing, Alex Gray just talked to me 5 minutes before you guys got here, and I wrote this. We just got $30,000 grant awarded from Blue Shield Blue Cross that is going to be for our new CTE program. So I accidentally called it sports medicine and athletic therapy. He said, do not make up your own terms, Becky. It is sports medicine and rehabilitation services. That is so exciting because, I mean, students love this. You guys can say, yes, students love this kind of thing. And you really get to work on other students. And we now are going to get some equipment to start the program. So we just got awarded that, just found out today. So that's super exciting. Fresh, hot off the press for the Daily Bee right there. And thank you, Darren's back in the country. He was in Germany for spring break, so we're happy that he is back. And he is taking these pictures now in the loop. I know I keep bragging about it, but it's really cool to me. So that's obviously downtown City Beach, and he's got that picture there. And if anybody wants to join any of our social media, those are links there. And then if you want to watch any prior loops, they're there as well. Just focusing on our one thing this year, as you know, the board picked out their focus for the year, which was one trusted adult, your graduation rate to increase. A reminder that Clark Fork High School, since they are here, 100%, only school in the district, 100%. Good job, Clark Fork High School. And our student achievement, which I just discussed a little bit about the IRI, and you'll hear more about the map. But I wanted you to know about the one trusted adult. In February, all of our elementary schools do a climate survey, safety survey, and they send it out so parents see what it is. These are the questions. You can see they asked about the trusted adult, and 94% of your elementary students feel safe at school. 94%. That's unheard of. I mean, that's great kudos to our elementaries and the climate they've set up and the safe how students feel. So kudos on that, and just remind you that students are at the center of everything that we do. Any questions?
I don't have any.
Very good.
No?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Meyer.
Thank you.
All right, next we are going to jump into public comment. We've got quite a few here tonight. First, I'm going to go through this statement. The Board of Trustees welcomes patron comments from the community. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person and must be appropriate for an open forum. Input must not identify individual personnel or students or be abusive, defamatory, or obscene. This is a board meeting held in public, not a public board meeting. As governed by Idaho Code 33, Section 5, thus no discussions or responses can occur during the meeting. Issues may be referred to the proper staff person or committee for follow-up per the board's discretion. Any complaint about the district, including instruction, discipline, district personnel policy, procedure, or curriculum, should be referred through proper administrative channels before it's presented to the board for consideration. Should a large number of the public wish to speak on the same issue or topic, you will be encouraged to select one representative to summarize the group's position. And I'm going to have a timer going. It's kind of quiet, but I will tell you when 3 minutes is up. Everybody here is talking about the same exact thing tonight. Obviously, you're all welcome to speak, but at your discretion, you can identify a spokesperson should you choose.
How about we let the boys right now have a parent representative?
Okay, so I'm not sure who the boys are. Emmerich is.
We're gonna have two parents.
I'd like to still.
You wanna open it?
Yep.
Yes.
So, and you are?
Corey Joe.
Corey Joe? Okay, Corey Joe, you're up.
Sorry, that light is.
This light was. You want the light on?
I was thinking the same exact thing.
Okay. I just don't want to distract you.
Hello, my name's Corey Joe, and I'm a parent of Emmerich Jones. He was on the boys basketball team. He's a senior this year, and he is a team captain. And I just wanted to take a few moments to speak from my heart and share my thoughts on why I believe Coach Brian Child should not resign. Our family's been with this program for the past 4 years. And we came here from Oregon City, and you know, we weren't from here, so we're just starting new. And my son Emmerich was a freshman that year, and so we were there the first year that Coach was there as well. And so we've seen from the start what Coach had to offer and what he's done through the last 4 years to elevate this team, this program, and this community. Under Coach Brian Childs, his leadership, and under his leadership, we've achieved a lot, and the program has thrived. We made it to state, we won the district championship, and Coach was awarded Coach of the Year last year. Those are big accomplishments that don't just happen for no reason. One of the things that stands out to me are the opportunities that all the players have had over the past 4 years. They've had a chance to grow not only as athletes, but also as young men. From spring and summer basketball to traveling across the country to compete against some very competitive teams, the boys have been pushed to be their very best, and they become a family in the process. Coach Childs has given so much to this team, his time, his energy, and his heart. He drives an hour to work, back and forth every day, works late, and sacrifices his time from his own family to help these boys improve. His dedication to these kids, he's dedicated to these kids, and it shows. He believes in them, both as individuals and as a team. Being a coach is not easy, and you can't make everyone happy. But Coach has stayed focused and on what's best for the whole team. And that's why the players respect him so much. And as a parent, when your son tells you how much he respects his coach, you know it's something special. Even though Emmerich is graduating and we're no longer going to be with the program, it's hard for us to think about the possibility that Coach will not be able to see everything that has been built continue on. It would be disheartening. Knowing the sacrifices that he's made and the relationships that he's built, not with just the players, but with the parents, we know that we're going to miss him. My husband and I are so thankful for the past 4 years, and as a parent, you want to see your child have fun, succeed, and grow up into a better person. And I can honestly say that's what happened with my son. But none of that would have been possible without Coach and his staff. And so we feel like we owe a lot to him. And for that, we're deeply grateful. Thank you so much for listening to me and taking the time. And we're just thankful for the last 4 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Am I good to go?
Yep, go ahead.
All right. I'm Emmerich Jones. I was a senior this year, and I was a team captain for the basketball team the past years. I just wanted to take this moment and share what Coach Childs meant to me the past 4 years. When I first started playing basketball as a freshman, I was still adjusting to life here as from moving from Oregon City, as my mom had said. My first couple of years weren't easy. I struggled both on and off the court. I didn't have the best grades, and I made poor choices. Maybe I was a little bit of a troublemaker or was headed that way. I definitely where I wasn't wanted to be as a person or a basketball player. But through all that time, Coach was there pushing me. He held me accountable, pushed me hard to work, and believed in me in ways I didn't realize at the time. There were times I didn't see my own potential, but Coach saw something in me. He helped me grow as an athlete and more importantly as a person. Coach made sacrifices for all of us. He put in a lot of time, like my mom said, driving back and forth hours from living in Coeur d'Alene. Not just on the court, but off the court too. He always made himself available to help and to listen. It wasn't just about basketball for Coach, it was about becoming better. He genuinely cared about all of us. The relationships I built with my teammates and my coach are something I'll keep with me for the rest of my life. Coach wasn't just a coach, he was a mentor and a supporter. If he did this for me, I know he would do it for someone else too. That's the kind of person he is. This is why I think Coach shouldn't resign. That's it.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kingston Jankovic Corbett, and I believe that Mr. Childs should not resign. Mr. Childs has been there for everyone on this team since freshman year. He wasn't always just a coach. To me, he was someone I could talk to. He was there if I ever needed anything or if I just wanted to talk. He is someone that wanted you to be better than him because that's how much he cared about the team. We were a family. When you have someone like that, especially a mentor that can teach you the right way, the last thing you want to do is get rid of that. When I was a freshman, I didn't make the best decisions. I was very overweight, didn't look like a basketball player, but Mr. Childs knew I wanted to play the game and I loved it. Someone told him that he should cut me and I will never play varsity basketball. I ended up making the team, working for the next 3 years to start on varsity this year, all because Mr. Childs gave me a chance. Mr. Childs should stay as head varsity coach because he made a connection with the whole team and has always cared for us and wanted us to be the best we can. I just talked about it. This is why I believe we should keep Mr. Childs as head varsity coach and he should not resign.
Thank you, Keith.
Hi, thank you, board. My name is Shanna Yarbrough. Brock Yarbrough is my son. He's on the varsity basketball team, and I just really appreciate you taking the time to listen to us today. I'm kind of representing the rest of the moms. Yeah, the boys can be here. They had practice and other things. So today we stand before you to speak in strong support of Coach Childs. While there have been some concerns raised by a small group of parents, it's important that we take a step back, evaluate the situation in a broader, more objective light. The true value of a coach, particularly one like Coach Childs, cannot be measured by the immediate reaction of a few individuals, but by the long-term growth and success of the program, the athletes, and the community, which you're seeing just a couple of the boys tonight. First and foremost, let's address the elephant in the room. There will be moments of disagreement in sports, especially when they're competitive, when passions run high, emotions are at their peak. However, it's critical that we differentiate between isolated frustrations and the overall impact of a coach. What's often overlooked in times of tension is the fact that Coach Childs has consistently put in the team first, fostering an environment of discipline, teamwork, personal growth. Under Coach Childs' leadership, our athletes not only improved with their basketball skills, but developed qualities such as perseverance, resilience, community outreach. I hope you saw him in our boys in the community, because they really were this year. These are values that extend far beyond the basketball court into the lives of our players. Coach has shown an unwavering commitment to the well-being of our athletes, prioritizing their growth as individuals in order to see wins in the season and on the court. This is a coach who truly believes in teaching lessons that truly matter. It's important to acknowledge that in any team, there's going to be difficult decisions to make. There's only 5 guys that can go on the court. Coaches are tasked with ensuring every player grows, even if it means making tough calls that aren't popular. We should ask ourselves, are we looking for a coach who'll simply cater to the loudest voices, or are we seeking someone who'll shape young athletes to become not only great players, but great people? It's easy to focus on short-term results, immediate feedback, but when we step back and consider the big picture, it becomes clear that Coach Childs has set the program on a path to success. He's fostered a very positive relationship with Sandpoint Future. He attends local tournaments to watch the younger kids play. He has high school boys stepping at the tournaments and is in constant communication with the AAU coaches. I'm married to one, so I know that. He's not, which I haven't seen it done before, so this level of dedication truly helps develop a complete program, which you have to have a complete program to compete. He's encouraged the boys to extend past their comfort zone, past Sandpoint, past Idaho even, and get noticed and seen by true NCAA recruiters. He doesn't have to organize these, but he chooses to. He doesn't have to put in the extra time and energy to get these boys into more competition, more playing time, more practice, but he does because he truly does care. So, thank you.
Thank you. Are you guys switching up the order? I've got a few more on here, but I'm not sure who else is going, so.
I would like to go still if it's okay.
Okay, and you are?
I'll make it short and sweet, I promise, guys.
Okay.
Christy Corbett.
Christy Corbett?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
My name's Christy Corbett. Kingston's my son. I won't say everything that's already been said, but I have a unique perspective of, I've had a son that was riding the bench for almost an entire season, and then on a different season started almost every varsity game. And I can say with 100% confidence, I was equally as happy with Coach both seasons. He gives all of the kids opportunities to grow. I can't count the days, not just during the season, but all year long, where he comes in early, late, and on weekends. If there's 2 of the members of the team that are like, hey, I want to go shoot at the gym, he'll go and he'll open it. The other thing that's been so important to our family is the mentorship. You know, of course you want the skill and the development and all that, but I can honestly say that he has been the single most positive thing for my high schooler navigating the very difficult high school years. And it's made a difference of keeping our son on the right track and making good choices and just helping him to be a better young man and a better human being. And so regardless of what happens, I just wanted to let everybody know here that we have seen that on and off the court, and we just really appreciate it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
I'm not sure who else wants to go up. You guys are all good? Okay. Well, thank you guys very much for coming and speaking tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yes,
Thank you.
of course. All right. Next, just moving on to approval of the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. All right, we'll move on to board action items, and our first item is the student staff calendar for 2025-26.
So the reason that this next year is on there is the possibility that I talked about with the board of LPOHS high school going to a trimester in their new format, and it would align then if we moved the SLCs up 1 week, then that could be the end, that's a non-student day, just the students and parents come in, and that would allow them to have the grading day, it aligns perfectly with the end of the second trimester, so that way we aren't doing a second non-student day for LPO the following week. So we measured it out, and this is, and then it already aligns the next year after that.
Yeah. It's good, yeah. Not having an extra day off.
Yes.
So, on to the next. Sorry.
So
We do need a motion.
Sorry for that
Mhm.
motion. Yes, I'll entertain a motion for.
I make a motion to adopt the student staff calendars for 2025 and 26 and 2026 and 27 with changes as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes.
Chair Williams,
Yes.
just a point of reference, we only had presented the 25-26 calendars. Nope.
Let's see.
We
Can we?
would like to amend the
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah, let's amend the motion.
I'll put that in my motion.
So,
I make a motion to adopt the student staff calendars for 26, 27 with the changes
Nope,
as
just-
Nope, 20.
Just the one.
25 and 26.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Next we have the second reading of policy.
Yep,
My
food
thing
allergy.
is totally changed.
You did?
Yeah, I lost all my links and then I restarted and they're all there. So, okay. All right, we're moving on to second reading of policy. The first one we're diving into is 3515, food allergy management.
There was just some grammatical things and then the last paragraph. And I don't
Is
think
there
anybody had
any further discussion that's needed on this one, guys? Okay. I would entertain a motion for that.
I make a motion to adopt revisions to policy 3515, food allergy management.
Second it?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. The next one that we're on to is 4560, workers' compensation benefits. Lots of yellow. We've already been through it, but does anybody have any further questions or discussion on this before we move forward?
No.
Okay. Entertain a motion for this one as well.
Make a motion to adopt revisions to policy 60 workers' compensation benefits.
And second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We're now on to 8510, district safety. This is brand new policy. I'll have the opportunity to go through it. Anything you guys want to talk about? Okay. I'll entertain a motion for 8515.
I'll make a motion to, ratify 8510 district safety.
It's the same thing.
Or adopt.
Go back to the link right there. Put that.
I'm on it.
No, go back. And then I'll tell you what to say.
Oh, okay, there you go. I make a motion to adopt new policy 8510, district safety as presented.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. That motion
Aye.
passed. That motion passed. Sorry, Scott. All right,
I wasn't here last week, it's okay. Or last time, so.
moving on to 8705, generative AI. This one is, takes a long time to computer. You guys have computers?
Mine is super slow too.
And just remind you that Matt Brass was here and that he had the team from the district to give input in the 3 levels here. So, he's had a lot of.
Hate speech.
And then one of had asked to remove hate speech, so we removed that
Right.
piece and allowed for teachers to choose which level they wanted.
Yeah.
And then moved this compliance and enforcement up so it was under the same, so it was parallelism with the other part of the policy.
Yes. All right, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to adopt new policy 8705, generative artificial intelligence.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. That motion passes.
And we, just so the board knows, we are going to, at our welcome back, the first Tuesday back in August when the staff comes back, we're gonna have a tech academy, because this will be new information. We don't wanna give it to everybody now. We're gonna start it for next year, so the staff will have an opportunity to learn about it, and we'll have sessions where they can sign up for. This will be one of them. And we think it'll be pretty well attended, so it'll be, the staff will have an ability to go through it with tech people before the school year starts.
Excellent. All right, now we're moving on to non-action items. The first one up is on the Smart Pass system. We've already been over this, but wanted to bring it back up and have any further discussion if there was a meeting. Going through the superintendent report, I am in favor of, we've already paid for this pilot system for this year. I think we've worked out some of the kinks in terms of everybody knowing whether or not they can opt in or out. But going through this year, And then next year, having the high school bring it back to the board before we implement or choose not to implement. But I like that recommendation from Dr. Meyer to get through this year and then revisit it next year, have that discussion again then. There's really nothing for us to do at this point as a board, but certainly open to some discussion if you guys have any questions or comments at this point.
What I've heard is that basically that a lot of people are, when it came out that there could be an opt-out, they were satisfied with that because they weren't forced to, have their child in it or whatever. Talking about some of the students, I mean, just because I'm out there a lot, it doesn't really bother them too much, one way or the other. But I think that her recommendation certainly flies with what we need to do.
Yeah. And having Matt Brass kind of clarify some of those questions that have been presented to the admin team, I think getting that clarification, that's very good for, and I understand, questions about data and so on and so forth. It definitely makes me feel a little bit better tonight knowing that we have all the policies in place to make sure we take care of all this stuff. But I like the idea of moving through this year and then.
It was interesting, I had a lot of parents that had this same but completely different lens on this, like similar situations. And so being able to accommodate all parents for this time period, I think is really important. And then I love that we'll get that input from staff, students, parents, and see how is it really working? Are we really satisfied or not? What other challenges come forth? I think it's a really great solution. Thank you.
Yeah. I have had probably nobody come to me personally and complain about this thing at all, except for my own kids. And since it's rolled out, they haven't said anything anyway. So, and when I have brought it up to other patrons, they just kind of roll their eyes and like, whatever. I'm sure it's going to be great. So I'm good with the recommendation totally. So
All right, thank you.
Sounds good. All right. Now we're going to move on to first reading policy. First one up is 3255, student conduct.
So we wanted to add, I know you already approved it last year, but we wanted to add a few things that seem to be missing. So speaking of electronically, and after our Student Safety Summit, we felt like we needed to add this or electronically, which is the spreading false or unsubstantiated information, writing verbally when I added or electronically. I added the AI policy, which you just approved here on number 11, which goes with plagiarism or cheating. And then there was just something that wasn't in here. These last three, we have separate policies, which Kelly has cross-referenced at the bottom. But these are some areas that were missing off student conduct code that we felt it would be important for this to be all in one spot. Yes. Yeah. So we came across an incident where it wasn't and felt like this was important in talking with admin. They're in support of this. And then you can see down here at the bottom that we put in the Kelly put in the cross references here, which I think it's good for admin to be able to have this all in one spot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's good to have it all in one spot. You don't have to bounce around. Everybody knows exactly what is expected.
Yeah. So that's just first reading, and I'm happy to answer any questions or recommendations if you should have any.
I'm good. Do you guys have anything to add?
No, I think it's good. I read it good.
Okay. All right. Next, we're going to.
It's fixed.
It's fixed? Okay.
What's fixed?
Oh, I had found this
the
strange
grammatical
little
error?
thing, and it's, yeah.
That's what happens if you tell Kelly before the meeting.
But I didn't change it.
For this one, Chair, I have Nurse Christina Gavin, if she could come up to the podium to answer any questions that you may have. This is not my area of expertise, although I have two daughters who are nurses, but still is not my area of expertise. Before she starts, let me just say that in going through the procedure, you'll see it on the agenda to delete the procedure. You don't have to approve that. I'm just letting you know. It says in this policy that a healthcare professional has to diagnose it if it's a concussion. So we shouldn't be having a procedure for us to be looking at this. It is them or somebody that is qualified to do it. So I feel like the procedure puts us in a bad spot. And I think we just go with this policy. That's my recommendation. So that's why I asked Nurse Christina to put this together with Nurse Renee, and this is what they have.
So all of the policy models, Idaho board policy, except I did add at the very end, the very last paragraph, it just defines, and it's taken straight from Idaho code. And I thought about doing this because I met with the athletic trainer at the high school. And she said oftentimes they will get notes from random people trying to clear students to come back for a concussion or saying they have a concussion, like a physical therapist or something. Right. And so this is taken straight from Idaho code, just simply defining who a licensed healthcare provider is. So otherwise the rest of it is verbatim from Idaho policy. And I did just, I did cross-reference it with our old policy and made sure that everything is covered still per our old policy. So
yeah, I know it's a huge issue. I mean, as a coach, just going through a bunch of this for my new team, it has changed immensely since 10 years ago when I coached at the high school. And safe sport, there's a lot of things on there that a lot of us played through that are not good ideas to be playing through.
Exactly,
So,
for sure.
Yeah, so I think it's fantastic that this is all being updated, and everybody needs to know what their kid's getting into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just point of reference, Chair.
Yes.
I will edit the last sentence to obviously delete the procedure.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I don't have any feedback or questions on it. You guys have anything for?
My only, I think this is great because, a lot of people may think that football can cause concussions or whatever, but my experience as an athletic director and as a player and everything, that there was a time when the state wanted pole vaulters to wear helmets and mouthpieces, right? So because of the landing on your neck and stuff, and that didn't go over very well, but that was bizarre. But it just keeps changing because kids are getting bigger, stronger, heights, people are going higher in a lot of things, and I've seen kids high jumping with concussions. So I think this is something to have that just puts it out there that safety is important. And if there's any doubt whatsoever, get to the safe side. And it might cost the kid the whole year, but he's alive.
Yeah.
So
better safe than sorry.
thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
All right. Yeah. We're done on that one.
Okay. I think
You're gonna
there's
stay
another
up
one.
or-
Sure, I'll just stay up here.
Yeah. I almost said Chair Lewis.
Oh,
I know. Who was it that did that last time? Was it Brian? Yeah.
Brian.
Chair Williams.
That's 2 months ago.
That was 2 months ago. Okay. Boy.
Nobody remembers.
Chair Williams, this is the one that I said that we're going to delete.
Right, the concussion.
Yeah, so that's why, but you don't have to
Mine's
approve
still-
that,
mine's
that's
taking
just
forever.
as a matter of transparency for you to know. And then this is the next one that she's up here for. It'll come up, so.
At least yours is doing it too.
So this one's, I'm sorry.
Nope, you're fine. Go
This one, same thing, is adopted directly from Idaho board policy. I did the same thing. I cross-referenced it with our old policy to just ensure that everything was still covered. This one I will tell you I've been through with a fine-tooth comb because this is a very important one. I know concussion is, my son's a football player, but this one is something directly that
from this, I'm developing a lot of new forms and protocols and things like that for as far as training of staff, documentation, things like that. So just so you know that as you read through this, you might be like, do we do that? So we do in a sense, but I'm making it more of a formal way that we do it, or formal procedure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot.
There was a lot in here.
There was a lot, yes. I think I've read through this like so many times. So, yeah.
But I think, again, just like concussions and so many other things, this is very important, and it is not going to go away, and it is probably not going to get easier either.
Exactly.
So having it very cut and dry.
Yeah, I've looked at a lot of schools' forms and policies and everything, and I feel confident with this one that we're covering student medications thoroughly, so.
All right, do you guys have any questions? Okay.
Just a lot of good information.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, nice. Yours is working, right?
I never did.
Moving on to administrative announcements. Do we have any administrative announcements from our administrators? Not everybody wants some.
I don't really want to spill the beans, but.
But you're gonna.
No, because I'm going to bring students back, I believe, next board meeting, but we did the Cougar Community Connection, which I don't know if you saw in the newspaper. I wrote a grant to PAVE, and kids got to pick a workshop, and we had about 90 community members at Washington a couple Fridays ago. It was amazing. So I'll tell you about the workshop. I'll let the kids tell you about the workshops next month.
Okay.
It was very successful, and we're going to do it again.
That's exciting. Very cool.
Retired administrators there.
There was,
retired.
yes.
Kim Keaton was there.
Oh,
There was a pony there. Saying, yeah, you just wait. I'll let the kids share it with you. I can't help myself.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like we should queue you up for ISAT stuff.
Wait, do I say anything right now?
Maybe we can jinx it, maybe.
I'm not going to say
Just
it right now.
before you say
I'm going to
anything,
share
I'm
this
not gonna
next
say
board
anything.
meeting, but Casey and I have been sending each other messages because we started our ISAT testing before spring break, and it's looking good right now. We're really proud of our juniors and how serious they're taking the test, and it's reflecting well on the teaching and learning. So I'll share the news later. But we are math ISATs are kicked in this week too. So kids are working next week. It's SATs, and then the next week after that it's science ISATs. So those juniors, if you know them, hug them and love them.
Yeah.
There is a lot. And then after that, AP testing comes in after that. So it's go time right now at the high school. But Casey and I, you talked about JROTC. We met with a major from Nevada who's teaching the JROTC program as a CTE program down there, and so we got really good information. So that was kind of our big excitement, is we have some direction and some programs that we're able to look at and get some support with too. So again, just excited about that JROTC.
That JROTC, I have a good friend that just, he's a 3-star retired general in the Marines, and he would love to get involved with community and stuff.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
Put him in touch with Kyle Olmsted.
Yeah.
In fact, his wife, she subs at Sagal.
Okay. Put him in touch with me, and I will get him in touch with Kyle Olmsted.
Yes, great.
Thank you.
Other than that, there's always amazing things happening. But
Right.
that's just a little piece of it.
Tip of the iceberg. All right.
Clark Fork, I'm just going to say, Amanda kind of already introduced him, but just knowing that the online program has grown so much that we have been able to actually hire somebody to help carry the load, and he's come in full force. He has a vested interest in the community and the school, and he's doing really well. And so I appreciate it.
Yeah. Excellent. Cool.
I just have one more thing. So I got to do the learning walks today at Farman Stidwell. This is my second learning walk. I did the other one at Sanford High School, but I've gone to every school except Coogee so far, and LPO. And I was telling the group today, and I know Dr. Meyer knows this, it's amazing what's going on in those classrooms. I was watching math today in 6th grade that we weren't taught till 9th. I'm seriously, and the kids are getting it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just amazing. And like when I addressed everybody today, it was, you know, our teachers are teaching with such a purpose that the kids know. I mean, you get a bunch of people that walk in to a room. Kids don't know that they go like this, and then you just keep their focus. And the teachers are carrying on doing what they're doing, and it's. I mean, I've been retired 6 years, and it's amazing how fast education is going. You know, like you said, nothing's staying the same. You know, all of this stuff is all different. Concussion protocols definitely different than when I was teaching 6 years ago and coaching. So it's like nothing's staying the same. Everything's moving, but it's amazing what the principals, what the teachers, everybody's doing in this district. You know, and it's man, it's just something to be proud of. Because I will tell you, 25 years ago, you know, Lake Ponderay or Bonner County was the laughing stock of the state. You know, they were. I had so many friends going, "You're crazy. You need to move out of there." So it's my hometown.
Yeah.
But anyway, so much good things going on.
Yeah.
So many good things. It's amazing.
So we hear a lot of
Kudos to all the principals and the kids and the staff and to Dr. Meyer.
I say if we could bring the legislatures, I've invited them in, if we could bring them in for learning walks and they could see, I've said this over and over and over again, to the governor, to his face, I've said it to everybody, if we could get the legislators who have concerns to come into the classroom. I can't speak for everybody else in the state, but if we could have them come into the Lake Ponderay School District and go into the classrooms, they would want to give us all the money instead of giving it away, because they'd be like, wow, you're really making progress and really making sure every single student is making growth.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It really is. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Yep.
Good job.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.